Raised over $1 million as a 22-year-old straight out of college after something like 1,500 no's. What's the one thing that finally started turning those no's into yeses?
Everything all about storytelling
Yep.
relating to the investor. I would just pull all nighters and send 500 emails a day. I ended up spamming and screwing up my whole email. No one even getting my emails. I started doing pitch competitions. That really gave us the validity to start closing checks. Something I found, the simplest features are usually the best, and the most complicated are usually the least used.
Hey, are you Dylan, the guy who started FaceTiming friends throughout Bear County, New Jersey, and turned it into a real-time safety app, and then raised over $1 million as a 22-year-old straight out of college after something like 1,500 no's?
Yes, that's me.
Could you take me through what was going through your head here during these late night runs in New Jersey and the exact moment that this flipped from an idea to that feeling that you have to build something like this?
I was originally running back from the gym late at night. Our governor relocated all the black bears to my neighborhood, so I used to FaceTime my friend Chris, and eventually he said, "Hey man, I'm here for you. I'll watch over you, but if a bear attacks you, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "I don't have any recording, and I would have to hang up with you to call 911, and they would probably think I'm insane because I don't have your location either." I would just say, "Oh yeah, I heard growling. My friend Dylan, it seems like he's getting mauled by a bear, but I don't know where he is or what's really happening now." So I was like, "Oh, that's a good point." So I had the idea for almost like a FaceTime that recorded with integrated safety features. You could stream and record your live video, audio location, and then press a button to share your live stream with safety agents who could monitor your stream and then escalate directly to 911. And even if you're on a route now, if you're in an Uber or Lyft, you could enter your trip details into the app so it could share your route.
Insane. So you said it took around 1,500 no's or something like that to raise your first million. So as a college kid having no track record, what's the one thing that finally started turning those no's into yeses?
I was lucky enough to originally get a lot of previous angel decks. I would just pull all nighters and send 500 emails a day. And I ended up spamming and screwing up my whole email. So no one ended up even getting my emails. They were all going to spam because I screwed it up too much. I didn't realize that probably for a couple months. Then I started running like almost like a CRM type campaigns. And then I started getting pretty good responses, but still almost all no's.
Right.
And I would hook the email list up to instantly.
Yep.
And then run their outreach through instantly. And yeah, I would get almost mostly all no's from that. And then it turned around, I would say, when I started doing pitch competitions. Almost the main reason for everyone saying no was, if you do this, drop out of college and we're not going to invest in that company in which you're all in. And I was in a place to drop out. So I started doing pitch competitions to also raise money. And then we were able to raise $125,000 from winning just a couple pitch competitions. Then we came in first place in this Harvard Alumni Angels one down in Florida against some pretty bigger companies that were a lot more developed alongside us and people with Ivy League track records, and we were able to come in first place in that. And
Amazing.
From that, we were able to kind of use that as re-outreach to people. That really gave us the validity to be able to start closing checks.
Amazing. So once you got the deliverability thing figured out, I know that's part of the process and a big learning experience.
Yes.
What kind of feedback were you getting? Because I'm sure that there was some, feedback that you got that maybe helped you refine your pitch moving forward to, go to those competitions and be successful. Was there anything you got from those investors that, helped you craft that?
Yeah, everything at the end of the day, all about storytelling relating to the investor or whoever you're pitching to in the beginning in somewhat of an emotional level. For us, it was a great topic because it's about safety. Safety is just emotional in every way, really. But a lot of other products, it's pretty hard to relate to them in an emotional setting, but just trying to relate to them that way and then showing them the vision and the mission, as well as ending it with similar companies that are successful in the space already. So showing those big numbers of, hey, there's a company that exited for $2 billion or a company that, just got acquired for $600 million in this space. And we are successful for the next 3 to 5 years. We think we could do that as well, trying to sell the solution as well.
That's awesome, man. So you're in an interesting category. I mean, safety is something that people don't normally want to think about. Try to avoid the negative thoughts about what could be going on. Your whole bet is making it social so people actually use it. So how do you take something kind of scary at times and turn it into something that people actually want to open and use?
We realized that apps like Life 360, I just kept hearing a lot from friends that the second, they're freshmen in college or they turn 18, they're deleting the app and just reverting to like Find My iPhone. So we saw a clear gap in that market to try and come in from the user at the age of 18 or even a little younger and try and keep them for the rest of their life, and making it social, as it feels like every thing with our generation Gen Z is real-time social streaming, video, audio. So trying to incorporate those in the biggest way possible and utilizing, like, I really created the app and stemmed everything from inspiration from Snapchat, Instagram, and Kick, almost all in one, and try to marry them together and that integrate with the 911 systems as well.
That's amazing, man. All right, so what's one feature you built specifically to make safety feel like a habit instead of a chore?
We have a nudge feature. So if you know a friend or family member, for example, if my sister's going out to a bar, I know that she's leaving the bar maybe around 1 a.m., I could nudge her to go live and just make it as easy as possible. She'll get a notification, Dylan wants you to go live. All she has to do is tap that, and then she's automatically streaming directly to me.
That's incredible. What was it like getting the technology set up for that?
For that, we had to create the nudge system, so just a notification system, and then also just curating who she would stream to based on a nudge.
Yeah.
Something I found the simplest features are usually the best, and the most complicated are usually the least used.
That's good stuff right there. That's a good gold nugget. Real quick, I found this very crazy. So you, for how early you are, you've been able to land national foundations, universities, and integrate them with Rapid SOS. So how does an early stage founder like yourself, how are you able to land these credible partners and for them to bet on you before they have all the revenue numbers? How do you sell yourself and sell your product to land those types of partners?
One of the things I think a lot of the safety companies maybe out there right now, they're all obviously about revenue and growth mostly, and there's all these foundations that stemmed out of horrible incidents. Turn on the news, you'll see a huge mass tragedy or some type of murder related to an incident, and a foundation may come out of that to try and create solutions around that or awareness around that solution. But no one's really went to those foundations and said, hey, like, besides awareness, let's actually create a solution to what happened, or let me understand your story. And so what I did is I went around to these foundations just from personal experience, that me looking at the news, me seeing all these incidents, for example, like the Parkland shooting, really studying it, and then reaching out to the foundation and learning more that isn't on TV about the incidents that happened, and trying to build in different safety solutions. So one of the things from the Parkland shooting that we learned was just how important time is to you in an emergency, and more specifically, how important it is to go in the right entrance of a building during an emergency. So we created a feature where you could select the closest entry to you. If you're in a big building, there could be 50, 100 doors. Or if you're in an apartment building in the city, the entrance could be on either side sometimes, depending on the address where 911 gets dispatched. So if you're able to pinpoint the entry of that, could be the difference between 5, 10, and 15 minutes in an emergency. That was like one of the bigger, I would say, features that we believe could save a lot of time in emergencies, and really just trying to work with these foundations to create real world solutions besides just awareness.
Yeah, so what is the most counterintuitive thing you've learned in this past year? Because I'm sure a lot goes into building in the safety space, building a mobile app, right? And just ultimately being an entrepreneur and going through this process. So what's been the most counterintuitive thing you've learned, maybe biggest lesson just over this past year?
It was originally me and then two of my friends, one from UF, from UCF, who built the MVP. That was my freshman year, like 5 years ago. And then was able to raise $250 my sophomore year to hire out a couple people that we needed to develop the video and audio streaming technology. Last year was able to raise that $1 million to more so hire out a team to work on the tech full time and really get that right. And just solidify that as much as possible. And we realized it's definitely slow. It's hard to do a lot with a little capital, and then once you do have the capital, you can do a lot pretty fast.
Absolutely. Being aware of the funds you have at hand and allocating them appropriately.
Correct.
You're up against some big players in the safety space, obviously. What's differentiating you guys, and how does Third Eye win in this category?
We're really the first mover in the video and audio space, so being able to stream and record, so apps like Life 360, just basic location sharing, kind of the perception of the Hawk parent app. So our goal is to be that cool, new, fun, social, interactive app in which you could continue to socialize, stay safe with your friends, family, see and hear everything that's going on people's trips, really focusing on to and from destinations, so being able to stream that journey to and from, and their friends could watch it back, comment on the recorded streams. Also innovating on the outdated emergency and safety systems. A lot of these current safety apps that do tens of millions to hundreds of millions a year in revenue are all just a button that really just sends your location to a dispatching center or to 911, and no one's really incorporating or innovating on the 911 systems. And one of the biggest systems that we saw was the ability to You would think that it would be invented, but if someone's an emergency contact, they could trigger an emergency on your behalf. So there's like a big issue right now with 911 systems. If I call 911 for my grandma, if I'm in Florida, I call her, she's in New Jersey, I know she falls, she usually calls me and says, oh, you know, I fell. Can you call the police for me? I call 911, it goes to my Miami, Florida dispatching center, and they have to transfer it all the way. They say, oh, where is she? What's her? So usually 911 centers are based on your county.
Yeah.
And it's a whole mess really across state lines.
Sounds
So
like it.
with our system, you could trigger an emergency on their behalf if you're a designated emergency contact. And then it puts you and them in a group chat with a trained safety agent, and then they escalate directly to her 911, saving an estimated 5 to 10 minutes at least of dispatch time.
That's incredible. That removes a lot of friction in that process.
Yes, yeah, and it's just one of the safety systems where you would think like Apple would have it, or these systems would be like, oh, maybe we should allow this feature, allow this system to be created. It really wasn't like rocket science.
You're solving problems. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Awesome, man. Amazing. So what is next for Third Eye? So what is the current priority right now? Is it user growth? Is it product? Is it partnerships? What does that look like for you guys?
We actually launched like 2 weeks ago. We were growing with about 6,000, mostly students, college families, and then one of the main things that we screwed up on was we didn't put enough effort into the onboarding of the app and too much into the main features. So
Definitely.
kind of learning as we go. And we didn't realize how big of an issue it was. And then so we spent the last couple of weeks just refining the onboarding, really personalizing plans as well to the user, taking a lot of, I would say, been studying like Cal AI a lot, Duolingo.
Of course.
Those are two of the best onboardings in the app and how they do that. And really, if you could create a great onboarding, it almost really doesn't matter what's in the app. If you could just show them the value prop, show them the experience, that's our main focus for right now, and getting that implemented as soon as possible. And then we're also getting ready to raise our seed round as well to help go to market.
Right. So where can everyone keep up with you? Where can everyone follow your journey? The app's in the App Store, right? Where can they follow you on socials?
Yeah, so it's the number 3 and then the letters RD dash the letter I.
Got it.
And on the App Store, it's Safety Made Social, Third Eye Safety Made Social. And then on our socials, it's number 3 letters RD underscore the letter I underscore app on social media.
Amazing, Dylan. Well, thanks so much for taking this random FaceTime, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, man.